Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm declaring my independence. Independence from what? Why, negative thoughts and energy, of course. Chief among them, hate, division, and fear. You see, I know that we're all one, and together we can solve any problem, save our planet and each other. Please, join me as we come together as one and choose a better way to be. So now, let's begin with my independence report. And welcome everybody to my independence report. I hope that you have brought a pencil and a piece of paper because you're going to learn some stuff today that you may not have known before. Some of you are, of course, brighter than me, so you can figure it out. But we're talking with a young lady that is part of a group, and I'm not even going to attempt the name because if I read it, I'm going to screw it up. This is Chelsey Chew, and she is with a group, and is based out of Australia, I do believe, and that's where she is today. It is currently 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday, and I was kidding her because it's like she's going into the past because we haven't. I'm on the west coast of the United States, and we haven't had Thursday night yet. So I'm hoping you had a good Thursday night so that it can be a precursor to what we get. But in any event, Chelsey Chew is with us, and she is with the group that is called
KwyptoLand.
Kwyptoland. I like that. That's really cool. And it is a newer group because it works with cryptocurrency, which is also a newer thing that I sadly know very little about. And so she's going to educate me and all of you at the same time is so that we can understand what it is and what she's doing. If she's got a team assembled that are working to create something brand new. And so let's talk about that. First of all, Chelsey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys? I hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah, I heard
your Thursday night's going to be amazing.
It is now because I'm talking to you, and you're going to make me a millionaire.
No promises there. You are going to make yourself a millionaire.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. So tell me a little bit about your background. How did you get into cryptocurrency and what's your schooling like and all that kind of good stuff that you are brighter than some of us?
Well, cryptocurrency, first of all, Bitcoin to be specific, is not exactly new. It has been here since 2011, but I've only been in the cryptoverse, I call it, but crypto world in a way, since 2017, when there's like a huge bull run, and then it caught the media's attention, how a pizza boy actually took like 100 Bitcoins. And at that time, it was a few $million. But right now, with the current price at $42,000, he is basically almost a billionaire if he kept it, if he didn't lose his private keys, which I think he did. So that is how I actually got into cryptocurrency. And at that time, I was investing fundamentally and mostly taking long-term trades. It's only this year that I've decided that I wanted to do this like seriously, because I do believe in it. I do think it's the future in terms of our the way we are doing like our payments and stuff like that. It will be. It's just only a matter of time, like when. Mm-hmm. And as for schooling, yes, I was bright in school, and I'm really good in sports. So yeah. That's me in general.
Very good. Well, so you need to explain to me, because currently I believe Bitcoin which is the number one example. Now there are bunches of them out there, but Bitcoin is worth $42 or $42,000 per coin. So if I were to buy part of a coin for like $100, it wouldn't be a very big piece of coin. Is that kind of like a metaphor, the Bitcoin? Because it's just what does it mean? What a Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is basically like a currency. For example, like what we know now, the US dollar, China yuan, the difference, like, so one Bitcoin for $42,000 is basically just a currency exchange rate. What you are really buying, for example, if I go to America, if I buy $20, $100, your example, $100 of American money is not that much, is it? Because like the Feds printed a lot of money last year. So that's basically similar concept to how it's like. It's you're owning a part of the digital coin, and the difference between American dollars and Bitcoin is that American dollars, the Feds can print as many as they want, but for Bitcoin, there's a finite supply. So which means that there's only this amount of Bitcoin that can be mined, and once it's mined, it's you can't mine anymore, and thus it actually is very limited. That's why the prices are really high right now.
So again, it's based on supply and demand.
That's correct.
And so there are a finite number of Bitcoins in the world, and there aren't going to be any more. It's not like what the Fed does when it says, need $1 billion? Okay, let's go print it.
Exactly.
And so it's not like that. So as the demand rises and people start paying more for it, then that causes the price to go up until there's a sell-off, and that price causes the price to go down, and then everybody jumps out the window.
That's correct.
Because if you buy it at the wrong time, if you don't follow the market and you buy it when it's at its high, and then something happens and they have a sell-off and it drops, I don't know, $10,000 a coin, which happens from time to time, I guess. Is that right?
Well, we have this saying in the crypto world, you don't lose until you sell. So what we always do is that we have this term as well. It's spelled as HODL. We call it HODL. So we have to hold it like most people would actually hold their coins until it reappreciates to like surpass to what they've bought. Those are the long-term investors who has like long-term views for cryptocurrencies, and they are the ones who normally gain, because how this market work is that this is another great thing that I love about cryptocurrency. Yes, it's bad for a lot of people, but it plays on your emotions a little. Like if you're not strong enough, for example, you look at the price going up, right? And you're like, oh my God, I'm missing this train. I really want to get on this train. Let me just buy this Bitcoin or buy this coin. But then out of a sudden it tanks. Whatever goes up must come down. It has to correct. It has to cool off. Otherwise, gas fees will be high if there are gas fees, and stuff like that. So, and then when the market tanked, people will be like, "Oh my God, I'm losing money. Like, what? I should totally sell this." This is how you lose money in cryptocurrency. Like you buy when it goes up and you sell when it goes down. That's losing money 101. And that's what most people do.
let me explain. In 2008, when the economy tanked here and there was a housing bubble and the housing bubble burst and all of that, my mother was heavily invested in the stock market, and it was like at 12 and 13, it was like 12 or I think it was like 14,000 at the time. And then it dropped to 10. Then it dropped to 9. Then it dropped to 8. And she would look at her portfolio, and she was losing money every day. She was losing some money, and so her intestinal fortitude dried up, and she sold everything and put everything into bonds. And when it was at 8,000, yeah, and so she never put it back. She never waited for the bottom, and then when it started going up, she never put it back. So she would have been much better off just leaving it there and not looking at it every day and not stressing over it, because stock market now is at about 35,000, and she would have doubled or tripled the amount of money that she had in there. So I get the concept of you just got to hold on to something and just wait it out.
Or have the mindset, Warren Buffett once said that, I think this is so simple to say, but it's so hard to do because we are humans, we have emotions. So he said that all you have to do is buy during fear and sell during greed. So when people are getting greedy, that's when you sell, not when you buy. And when people are being fearful, like how your mom felt at that time, that's when you should buy. So with this saying, it actually applies in the stock market, in the real estate market, and cryptocurrency. You will guaranteed be earning at the end of the
Exactly. Now,
yeah.
by the way, before we get too far into this, I want to thank Tracy Lamore from Lamore Media. She brought us together, the woman who never sleeps, and
She's
she works.
amazing.
She is. She works very hard to bring really cool people to me. We're working together to get the word out about some of our clients and stuff, which is hence the reason for this interview. But what you're doing is very interesting. I would like to get into talking about what it is that you and a group of your friends and other acquaintances and people that you know, you're creating something based on cryptocurrency because see, you when you say it's been around for a long time and you say 2011, for me that was the day before yesterday. But for you, I get it. It's been a little while. But so tell us about the company, which is Kwyptoland. Kwyptoland.
Kwyptoland.
Yes, I can. That's the best shot I got. So tell us about that and how did it
So
come to be?
we actually consist a team of random, like, we are not really based on Australia. I'm the only one that's based in Australia.
Oh, okay.
We have people from the States, from the UK, from Germany, from Ukraine. Some of them live in Japan, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Basically, did I miss anything out? Probably not. But like, so all of us actually band together. We are like a group of artists, tech developers, and game developers, and marketing, actually. So these are the three main groups that we have right now for our team to get what we to get it going, like to get, because our long-term goal is to build like a decentralized land metaverse, which is right now it's a bit tough. Like a lot of people will tell you that, oh yeah, we are going to build this land, it's going to be easy. Especially on the blockchain, it is so hard because there's still a gap for us to fill in the meta human verse itself. Like for speech, it's so hard for a digital avatar to actually sync up with words. And even so, like the facial expressions, you can't, it's very hard to get right. So I guess this is where our challenge is at, that we are looking to solve. We will go into the metaverse eventually, because right now we are currently in NFTs, and we are planning to implement it in the metaverse world. It's just that we are planning to do this really slowly. Like now we are going to launch like this NFTs, which will be a key to something that we are not going to announce it yet, to this metaverse. So, and ideally, we would like to make this metaverse a virtual reality, if not augmented reality, in a way where people can enjoy like how it's like to be someone else or something else, or I don't know, go for soul searching. Like we would like to implement a lot of AI into this. So yeah, it will be really, really exciting.
The first thing that you're going to have to do is understand that there's lots of terms you're going to use that you use in a regular conversation that I have no idea. My nephew's like that. He's into computers. I can say hello to him. He'll say hello, and I'll say, how you doing? And that's the last I get to understand what he's talking about, because he's talking a completely different language than I do. Like metaverse. What is metaverse?
Okay, metaverse is a digital verse that someone creates. For example, do you know games?
Somewhat, yes.
What kind of games do you know?
Checkers, chess. No, that's not.
Do you know Call of Duty, Fortnite?
Yes.
Okay, so
I've
games like
actually
that.
tried to play Fortnite and I gave up on it, because there's also another one that is real time that, and I forget the name of it, but it's I guess it's fairly popular, but it's real time and it's based upon a avatar that you create that is then in his house, and he goes to bed at night and he gets up
Like The
and then they go.
Sims?
Yes, that's yes.
It is something like that, but The Sims is yeah, Metaverse is something like that. Our goal is to make a copy of reality for us to be able to implement some AI into it as well. The experience is the experience that matters. It's the graphics, the experience, and everything. So that's what we are trying to aim for. The Sims is a very, very simple game, and it's very enjoyable because it's very simple. but
Yes, it
the
is.
experience is different. Like the experience, the NPCs are just, sorry, NPCs means like non-playing like characters, as in those characters, they only do whatever the computer programmed them to do. They don't
Okay.
speak to you, so they don't really give you much enjoyment or add to your experience. They do sometimes, but like not fully as how it's like, how you experience real life is like, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is where the gaming world is lacking in a way, and we thought it might be fun that we can just do this in a decent on the blockchain, where gamers can go into a world. Have you watched Ready Player One?
No, I'm
or
sorry.
Guy, the one that was just released from Disney?
No. I'm
Ryan
sorry.
Reynolds.
I haven't done that yet. But let me see if I can put it into my terms and get it under. What you're
Yeah,
doing is you're creating an entire world.
yeah.
You have an avatar or an individual that you create, and you operate that individual, and that individual then interacts with other people, be they other people or computer generated people that you can then have actual conversations with and interact with and have to deal with all of the things that have to go along with life in this virtual reality. Is that, am I close?
Something like that. Most games are already like that, but so the difference between this metaverse and the other games are is actually the experience, like your experience in it. We want you to go into a world where you're like, oh my god, this is like the real world, and you can earn money in that world, you can spend money in that world. Yes, you can't taste, or you can hear. Some of your senses work, but some of your senses don't. We can fix that, but we want you to be, so for example, if you are working as a, like Kevin, you work as a podcast host in this life, and what if you want to be, I don't know, a woman, or you want to be the president of the entire world? And we would want our users to be able to do that, like to find whether if they're calling. In a way, it's somewhat spiritual. It's also somewhat like an escape of reality. Yeah.
Exactly. See, at this moment in time, what I have to do is wait till I die and then be reincarnated to then be president of the United States. But you can skip all
Or
that. Yeah.
yeah. And wait for our world to be out.
So now, so let me get this straight. If I decided that I wanted to play the game and I wanted to be the president of the United States, the
Mm-hmm.
game would then set it up so that I would have Secret Service details and
No,
I.
you will have to do it yourself. Like, how you don't even need a Secret Service detail. If you want, like, for example, superhumans to be your bodyguards, why not? You can set it up yourself. So we want you guys to set the game up yourself. We try not to limit people's creativity, so you can be whatever you want. Like, not only anybody, but also anything, if that
Oh
makes
wow!
sense.
So
For example,
if you decide you want to be a bird or
yeah,
an eagle,
yeah,
and you wanted to fly, you could do that.
we can, yeah. But there's a lot of programming, a lot of like server costs for these kind of thing. That's why we are taking our time with the world. But yeah, that's our main goal.
That really is. See, now the problem with with that is somebody could get immersed in it to a
Mm-hmm.
point where they then believe it's reality. Can how do you prevent that from, or can you even? It's because some people, sit down in their basement and play video games 23 hours a day every day.
To me, at the end of the day, reality is perception. So if you can sustain yourself in this digital world, with money, obviously not with food because your physical body needs it, food, water. If you can actually sustain yourself in a way, it's not normal. Obviously, it's uncommon, and in this society, it's a little bit frowned upon at the moment. But if you can do that, I don't see why not. Like, why should we prevent someone from doing something? They're not harming other people,
Right.
doing whatever they like. So why would that be a problem?
No, I get that, and I understand.
Yeah.
So, like, is the game interactive? Are you looking to make it interactive so that there are other live people in your universe, or are you
Yeah.
creating your own universe?
We want to get to that as well. So the initial release, so what we will do is that we will release parts of the game first to test out like what the people like, what the people don't like, and then we can fix it and make it bigger, as opposed to nowadays what people are doing. They are just lumping the entire world out, like just releasing the entire world out to the players, and that's very costly, and it's also very it's yeah, so it's not wise. It's very time consuming, and we think it's a good idea to do it in like small parts. So just because some people want to be, for example, some people want to be, say, a bird, doesn't mean like the entire population, like not the entire population, doesn't mean that most people are open to it. Does that make sense? So
Mhm.
we will work based on our community, like what they like and what they don't like, and that's how we will tweak the game towards like the entire world.
Now, on your website, which I've looked at, you are the number one person there. Are you the one who came up with this and are bringing people into it, or was this like a Saturday night thing where you guys were kind of sitting around going, if we could have what we really want to do, this would be it? How did this come about?
Uh, it's actually a mix of both. Like, so right now in Australia, I'm in Sydney. So we've been in lockdown since end of June, and I'm still in lockdown. So that's how many months now? 3 months, 3.5 months soon.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a Saturday night thing where you and your friends, you kind of Zoom and you kind of talk about like all this kind of things, how it would be amazing to have all these technologies like come together, and you'll be able to just escape just like that. And that's when the idea actually come about, and that's when I started to like gather people like to execute like the plan that we have.
And a lot of people are joining you
Yeah.
because it really is a cool concept.
Yeah.
How much, for lack of a better term, how much bandwidth is it going to take to operate this game, or
Too
server
much.
strength and stuff?
That's why we are starting small as well. We don't want to waste. We don't want to pollute the environment. We don't want to waste a lot of money and cost on things like this. So we just want to make sure that everything works before we expand. Right now, we do have an investor and we have some government grant, which is amazing. But we also have like a few more people asking, angel investors looking to invest as well. So, but I haven't like I told them no, we are not looking for more like money at the moment. We just need to make sure this works before we take other people's money in. So that's where we are at right now.
Well, if you've got any of these angel investors that would like to work with, I don't know, a podcast, you just send them my way, would you please?
I will ask them.
Because you see, my mission is kind of like what you're trying to do, is to create a different world, a better world, and
How do
and
you create a different, how different, how better?
um I would think that, well, I don't know. You tell me. And What's is the
It's
motivation?
your idea. So
Uh,
in your mind,
well, in my
what's
mind, it would
better?
be, what, as an example, set up a scenario where um, there are no borders.
That would be amazing.
We are all different people. We're women. We're men. We're black. We're white. We're Asian. We're all sorts of different things.
Mhm.
But if we could set it up to where the premise of the game is that there are no borders and we have to figure out how to get along, and not tribalism, and not by small groups, but everybody working together to achieve something great, and you win the game when you achieve whatever it is as great as it can be. or you don't win the you know
This
you know
is
what I
why,
mean?
yeah, this is why I like crypto. Crypto is somewhat like that. Crypto does not care where you're from. It's not like the stock market where you're from the US or Canada. Like it depends on your books and stuff like that. It does not care. If there's demand, it goes up. If there's lesser demand than supply, it goes down. End of story. It's such an amazing concept in a way. It actually shows me a glimpse of, I wouldn't say equality, but something like equality. Like everyone is just at the same. It does not matter how rich you are or how poor you are. If you make a bad decision, and then that's it. End of story. This is the beauty of it. This is why I like crypto.
So it puts everybody on an equal footing, on an
Exactly.
equal playing field.
Exactly.
Because today I'm sad to say that that's not the case because of insider trading and all of that kind of stuff where somebody finds out ahead of time that there's going to be this pharmaceutical product that's going to come out that's going to change a particular stock, and they get a wind of it early, they buy heavily into it, it
Yeah.
affects everything, and other people don't get that same advantage that aren't aware of it. So this
But
is simply supply and demand.
well, don't get me wrong, like right now, because it's still at its infancy stage, if you have a lot of money, like enough to manipulate the market, you still can do it. But I foresee that in the near future, we will not, like, if most countries, you don't have to be every country, most countries accept cryptocurrency as a, it doesn't even need to be a legal tender, just accept as it is. When people start buying, when the public actually goes in, then it will be really hard for one government or one company to control, to manipulate the market. So I think that is ideally, I would like to see where it goes for cryptocurrency.
Now,
Yeah.
I read the other day that China was considering to outlaw it or devalue it or not accept it or something
Let
like
me just
that.
say, China has been trying to do that since 2013. 2013, they tried, 2017, 2018, and now 2021. They keep trying. And they can keep trying, but it's by banning people from something, you're going to make people want it more. And especially when it comes to you controlling your people's money, the Chinese has already the Chinese people. There's already a lot of people siphoning money out of the country and buying real estate, like in America, in Australia. So, what makes you think that the Chinese hasn't already siphoned money out to buy cryptocurrencies and trade based on that? Like, it's so hard to ban cryptocurrency. That's the beauty of it as well.
So if somebody wanted to, as an example, and I've got my pen and paper here, if somebody wanted, like me, wanted to invest in that, how would you go about doing it? I don't even have any idea.
It's pretty simple. Like, all you have to do is just go to an exchange like Coinbase. It's a US favorite, or Binance. But Binance does not operate as well in the US because of certain sanctions the SEC has with them. But there are many exchanges out there where you can just load your money in and then buy some cryptocurrency. Or you can go to Bitcoin ATMs. There are some Bitcoin ATMs in the US. There are some, what do you call them again? Local tenders. Like, so basically you just give them cash and they give you Bitcoin. But their spread is really big, which means that you will have lesser Bitcoin, more for like the money you give, so lesser value. So it's better. It's best if you go on like Coinbase or something like that, like an exchange like that, or Gemini,
So
to buy cryptocurrency.
if you buy cryptocurrency, you just said that you get a coin. What do you get back when you put money in? Is there just like an account that you have
So it's
that
like a bank account, yes, except there's two kinds of bank accounts when it comes to cryptocurrency bank accounts. There's two wallets. It's hot or cold. There are semi wallets, but I personally prefer cold wallets because they are almost unhackable. It's actually unhackable. It's human error that would actually allow people to gain access to your wallet, but it's unhackable, and your money is super safe as long as you store it properly by yourself. It's like a USB. It's not exactly USB. It's like a, it's this ledger and Trezor. So there's two kinds of cold wallet, and it's the digital coin basically goes into your wallet, and then you store it over there forever. So all you have to do is just if you want to sell it, you just go to a computer and then send it to like a exchange and then get some cash out from it. Or you can use a hot wallet like MetaMask or Trust Wallet. These are very, very hot for people who trade, actually. People who day trade, people who trade NFTs, even the wallets in your exchanges. It's also a hot wallet. So it's very, very, very not secure when it comes to hot wallet because people can hack it easily.
Oh, I would want
mean,
a cold wallet.
not as easy as a bank account, like not as easy as how people can scam you from your bank account. But people can still scam you based on social engineering. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, human errors are the ones that make us lose money.
Now, the interesting thing is that there are people out there that may be listening to this now or in the future that are going to say, "Yes, I'm going to invest in that, and I'm going to take my $10 and it's going to become $100 million in a week," and that's really not true anymore, is it?
It was never true. Like,
Well, it's like the guy that you said he invested a couple million, now he's worth $1 billion, but he didn't have something, and so he lost it
yeah,
all.
but when did he invest it though?
Yeah, at the very beginning.
So yeah, he must have not at the very, very beginning, but most likely he's invested it in like 2014, 2015, and he's waited for like 5-6 years, and he took a risk. That is why his risk was rewarded. That is why he got so much money at the end, because at that time nobody knows Bitcoin. At that time, people are like, Bitcoin what? Like, why would I want to buy this? Like, what if, like, it doesn't make sense. Why would I want to store it in my computer? Like, this is not money. How do I exchange it? At that time, there's not that many exchanges out there for you to exchange your digital currency for cash. So he took a risk, and it paid off. So that's what happened. It's not because he put it. There's no such thing anywhere in the world. You put in $10, the next week it becomes millions of dollars. There's no such thing, unless you have to be like really, really, really lucky to find something like of millions of dollars of value, and the person doesn't know it's worth that, and you buy it for $10, and that's like the only way you can do it, I guess.
Right. Well, and it's interesting because a lot of people are saying, or had said, that way, there's no government behind it. There's no it's all supply and demand. There is no tangible anything behind it. But then if you look at the US dollar, it's the same thing now. It used to be on the gold reserve, and it's no longer backed by gold. It's backed by reputation.
Exactly. This is
And
why a lot of people lose confidence in the currency, like any currency right now. Look at COVID. Look at how the governments are printing money. This is why cryptocurrency is so expensive right now, because people lose faith in the current dollar or euro or pounds, because the government keeps printing money. And what happens when the government keeps printing money? Inflation happens, which means that whatever that's worth $50 a year ago is not worth the same right now. It's going to be $40, $45. And then next year it's going to be like what, $35? It's yeah.
Well,
So
it's interesting that the government never says, at least not in my lifetime, I've never heard it, for them to come on to TV or to in front of Congress and say, "Okay, Senator, how much money did we print last year?" And nobody wants to come up with that number because everything is based upon confidence. If you're confident in the currency that you're working with, then you're not going to have a problem. But if it's more volatile, if inflation kicks in and all of these different factors that go in, then people lose confidence. Then they take that money out, they put it into gold, and they're putting it into cryptocurrency, and because they're looking for a safe place to park their money. And
exactly.
it's really tough to do because in a lot of cases there aren't really any very safe places to park your money.
Exactly. And even banks, in some countries, you have to pay to put your money in the bank. It's that crazy. Yeah.
I'm very lucky. I've got a really good bank. I won't tell them who they are here, but they actually pay interest, and they pay interest on their savings account, which is 0.001.
Oh my God.
It's like, yeah, but we pay interest. It's like, yeah, I know. I need $10 million to make 10. Um, I mean, so
Yeah.
it's a silly thing, but I'm glad that you are working on this, because now you're hoping that in some manner or form cryptocurrency can fund the operation of creating the world, correct?
Oh, you mean my sorry, I was just thinking reality. Well, we already have the funds to create a world. What we are hoping is a interest and support, I guess. Like, how will we have, like, the question is, will we have the right community behind us? That's what we are aiming for. Like, money is just money. Money is everywhere. So what really matters are the people for us. So yeah.
What's interesting about that, Chelsey, is that a lot of people, as far as money goes, feel that it's hard to find, and it's difficult, and they're suffering from lack because they're not able to do and to get money. And there are other people like yourselves. You just said it. There's lots of money everywhere. You can find money anywhere.
And you know
Uh,
what the funny thing is, Kevin? Both of us are right. Both groups of people are right. So at the end of the day, it depends on your mindset. If you think money is hard to find, it is going to be hard to find because you've already decided so. So yeah.
that's it's called in my world, that's called the law of attraction.
Yeah.
What you attract, what you ask for, what you believe is what you're going to get. And if you
Yeah.
believe money's hard to find, if you believe you're going to be broke, then guess what? The universe is going to reward you. And see, it's very much like the game you're trying to create, quite frankly. It's just you can do it on a faster level, because if you're trying to create something and you don't believe it's going to be successful, guess what? They're going to reward you with lack of success. If you honestly know that it's going to be successful, they're going to say, well, okay, here you go. They're going to reward you with success.
Yeah.
And finding money will be easy
Yeah.
and stuff. And so congratulations. I think it's a little, it takes a little bit of balls, excuse the expression, to be able to get out there and to do what you're doing, but I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
When is the first prototype going to come out?
We're actually developing a game right now, and we are looking to release it in 3 months. But we'll try. Like, I'll try my best to make it earlier because I want to do it before Christmas. It will be amazing. It is based on a really popular game in the world. I believe you call it soccer in America.
We do call it soccer in America. You call it football, and
Yeah.
you call American football is the one is what you
Rugby.
call. Yeah, and rugby, which is, by the way, rugby is the precursor of American football.
Possibly. I'm not very good at sports, so I mean, I play sports, but not rugby.
Rugby is
Obviously,
because they've got tackling, and they've got running and kicking, and they got the goalposts, and
it's
so
huge in Australia, yeah, and New Zealand.
oh yeah. Well, you have got a game there that is really cool. It's called Australian rules football,
Yes.
which is a little bit different than rugby. It's kind of
Yeah.
marries a lot of different things, but I mean, that game is rough.
Yeah, it is. It
But
is.
you're of course you're the lads down under are pretty tough kids. So, and the girls too. Do you know? Is there a girl Australian rules football leagues?
I don't believe so, actually, because I haven't really seen them, to be honest. That's a very good question. Because whenever you watch ARL, it's always men,
Yeah,
and the most famous one would be the All Blacks. Because, like, yeah,
because
they're
they're
amazing at like tackling. It feels like you went back to, I don't know, caveman era in a way.
it's a very brutal type of tackling sport, and
Yeah.
people get hurt a lot and stuff. But but it draws people, and people like to watch it. So
Yeah.
rather than that, most of them can't get out and play it, but they like to watch somebody else get beat up.
Yeah.
Which
Exactly.
which is which is the same thing that happens with boxing matches and with MMA, and we all want to sit there in the stands and drink our beer and smoke our cigars and watch somebody get the shit kicked out of them. Excuse the expression. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like what you're doing. So the game that you're looking to release before Christmas, what's it going to be like? What's it going to be based on? Can I have a peek
um
under the blanket? Nobody's listening.
it's at its infancy stage. I can't really say much, but let's just say it I have a feeling it's going to be big. It will be big because I mean, come on, it's soccer. Everyone likes soccer. With the Euro Cup and stuff like that. So we are coming up with like all kinds of ideas and stuff like that, how to make it very simple yet very enjoyable. So that's the whole goal of this game. And it's also like a tiny not exactly glimpse, because we are not using the exact graphics that we're going to use for the metaverse, but we want to find out whether if the community will like something like that.
I can tell you this, that when when my kids were 10, we had an Xbox One, and I could pretty much beat them anytime I wanted to. When they turned 12, the tables were reversed, and now my son plays games online, Call of Duty and some of the other ones. I can't even function in that because it happens so fast, and it's so
So
different and so complicated.
yeah, the great thing about this game is it's targeted towards adults. So it's based on how much can I divulge? I'm just thinking like you can actually we will incorporate NFT and that part of the metaverse. So adults are our target audiences. And if you're a child, most likely you will lose. And you'll find out why soon.
Now I got a game I want you to do. I want you to
Okay.
create for me, and it involves American football.
Okay.
But what I want to do, what I want for this game to be is, you have they call them franchises. Like there are 32 football franchises in the United States, and I want to be able to run a franchise and be the head coach and have all the players and the interactions with the other owners and all that kind of stuff be kind of real time, not just what I set it up to be, but to have to respond and react to what other owners are doing and placing, and the players that you're signing and what they're asking for and the salary cap. That would be, for me, that would be a tremendous amount of fun, and to have it be kind of real rather than pretend.
Yeah, that is actually a huge possibility in our world.
Oh,
So,
wouldn't that be
yeah,
fabulous?
look, we are not only planning for you to be whoever you want. We are also planning to, if everything goes well, you'll be able to do anything you want, including manage your own American football team, communicate with other owners. You can own banks, you can own real estate, you can sell them, you can charge people rent, you can get people to bet on your team, you can do whatever you want. That's the whole idea behind
Isn't that cool?
it.
That sounds like a tremendous amount of fun,
Yeah.
because because I don't know if you've noticed, but in our country in the last 4 years, we had kind of a alternate reality take place of a rich guy who charged people rent for stuff and put his name on buildings and stuff, and then he morphed that into creating an online version of himself that became the president of the United States. And and
Sounds like fun.
that's exactly how he did that. I think is that it wasn't real, and it was proven to not be real. But I think that game's going to be a great deal of fun, It certainly will be. And by the way, it is going to be successful. It is going to happen. And you are going to not only be, because you're a wonderful young lady, you've got a great smile, but you're going to
Thank
be
you.
fabulously wealthy.
That's not really the important point for me, I guess. It's more like creating this like crazy experience that will blow people. See, I'm a fan of amusement parks. Like
Of
at
course.
my age, it's like it's the experience that counts. That's what I feel.
And you want to
Yeah.
go down the merry-go-round, not the, no, excuse me. You want to go down
Go down the
the,
rabbit hole.
the
Like Alice
or
in Wonderland.
exactly, or you want to go down the roller coaster, not the
Hmm.
merry-go-round. You want to
Roller
experience
coaster.
life as fully and as completely as you can, because, and I applaud
100%.
that, because the reality is you're not going to be young forever. You're not going to be alive forever. And at the end of your life, many, many years from now, by the time you get there, the technology is going to be there that you're going to live to be 120. So that when you're 119 and 363 days, you want to look back and say, I don't have any regrets. I lived my
Exactly.
life
That's yeah. That's a very good mantra.
as
That's a
full as
very
I
good
can,
mantra.
no regrets. And I
Yes.
think that's awesome what you're doing. And also, by the way, the reason that you're not worried about the money is because making money is easy for you.
And also, I don't have that much of risk because a lot of people, because I'm single, I have no kids, so I can take a lot of risk as opposed to people like my peers. They have kids, they have family. Yeah, so it's yeah, I like my life.
Well, well, see, and you see, here's the thing: is when I was 20 and 21, I was an actor, and and I was a DJ at a radio station, and then I fell in love, got married, had kids. I had to work my whole life, and now I'm 64, and I get to play. I get to do what I waited 40 years to do. And so don't wait the 40 years. You can do so much more if you follow your passion the entire time.
What would you have done if you haven't like worked that 40 years?
If I had was able to follow my passion, I'd be doing
Mhm.
exactly what I'm doing right now.
Ah, but it's good. Like it's better late than never.
Oh, exactly. Well, I started this my little adventure in 18 years ago, and it failed because I didn't understand what I was doing and stuff, and so I had to go back to work. And then I went back to work. It's kind of an interesting story. I went back to work as a bus driver in Seattle for 12 years, and they
Okay.
get paid well, and they've got good benefits and stuff. And I was able to save some money. And so I bought the little home that I'm living in now. And as I was moving in, I fell and tore my rotator cuff on this side, had to have
Oh
surgery
no.
on it. And then 2.5 months later, I fell on the again and hurt the other arm and had to have surgery on that. And so now I'm disabled, technically disabled, so I can't work. And so now this is what I do.
I
And
guess it's what fate's way of saying that, hey Kevin, wake up. You need to do what you're passionate. Like you can't go back to that job because you're not happy, you know? So
I will sit here and tell you, and nobody can call me a liar, is that I believe the universe and my guides and everybody else that's on the other side set it up. In order for me to do this, there was going to be a little bit of pain I was going to have to go through, but at the end of the day, it's come out and it's turning out to be just the way it was designed to be. And this is what I need. This is what I should be doing because I love doing it. Talking to someone like you is just it just makes me feel so good inside because you're a special young person and
thank you.
you've got a lot of talent and I'm anxious to see what you come up with.
Thank you. I'm very excited too. And I'm very glad you follow your passion. Because as you said, we don't live forever.
Well, we don't, and my mother, God rest her soul, passed away in July,
I'm so
and
sorry to hear that.
she was 90. So, she played bridge on Thursday, she went out to dinner on Friday, and she didn't wake up on Saturday.
Oh no.
That's how I want to go.
Okay. That's an interesting point of view. That's a good way, I guess. It's better than like being hit by a car or like dropping from a cliff, you know.
Exactly.
That would
Or
be a
having
painful way
cancer
to die.
or
Or
having
having
cancer
cancer. That would
or
be
something like that.
torture.
Or what we were scared of in her case was Alzheimer's was setting in.
Oh no, that's
And so
horrible.
that's not that's I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Of course, yeah. My
So, but
grandfather went through Alzheimer's, so I've seen.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm glad that Tracy put us together, and
I'm glad
I
too.
really enjoyed our talk together. I think you're going to be fabulous. What do you got planned for the rest of the day? It's Friday there, you know.
I'm working. I've been working every day for the past couple of weeks to get our launch going for the first NFTs. So our first NFT is basically it derives from the saying. Have you actually heard of the saying how millennials can't afford properties because of avocado toast?
Yes.
So it's an avocado based NFT. This collection of NFTs will be our first, and it's actually a experiment for us, not experiment, but more like looking at how things how to run things and stuff like that, being prepared for what's coming next. So this is sort of like just a test run, so we will see how it goes with the launch. There's a lot of work for us, everyone, to do. So yeah, I'm working my ass off till like launch, I assume.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, but you love the work that you do. So, you know,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it really isn't work. It really
yeah,
isn't work.
that's true. That's true.
Because for me, talking to someone like you is it's just dynamic, and I get to meet the most incredible people. I've met some, you know, people come up to me and say, "You met him, or you interviewed him," and it's like, well, yeah, they're just people, and
Exactly.
they're really cool people, but and they're people with a mission and stuff, but it's just so great that I would love to see I'm excited to see the work that you're going to complete, not only this little group, but what you're going to accomplish in your lifetime.
I am very excited too, and I hope I don't die early.
No, you won't. You're taking care of yourself
Yeah,
and stuff. You're
but
gonna you're
sometimes I guess when it's your time, you can't really prevent that. That's what I believe. Like if it's your time, it's your time. If it's not yours, then look, I've been this is very funny, but I've been hit by a car 3 times, like
oh God.
different cars, and I've gotten away like without any scratches, like nothing. And like 2 of them are direct collisions, direct, like the car is going at a fast speed. I don't know how that happened, but this is why I believe if it's your time, it's your time. If it's not yours, it's not yours.
You know what? I also so you were a pedestrian and you got hit 3 times by a
So
car.
the first time I was riding a bike and the car just came out of nowhere, a taxi actually. And then I flew over the taxi and fell. But I was fine, like no concussion, no nothing. I don't even need to go to the hospital or whatever. And then the second time is I was a pedestrian, but the car was a bit slightly slower. So that wasn't that bad. But the third time, I was in my car at my passenger's side, and the car just came at 80 kilometers per hour, like just at from like my side. My entire car got like dented, like it basically got written off, and it can't be driven anymore. But I got away with like nothing, so I
They
was
call that in
really
this
really
country,
lucky.
they call that a T-bone.
A T-bone, yes, that's it. Yeah.
And those are the most horrific things. Depending, what kind of car were you driving?
I was driving this like Kia. Uh,
A
yeah, it's a small car, like a hatchback.
little thing that
Yeah, the
got
little
just
things.
destroyed.
Yeah.
But
So
you know what I chalk that up to, Kelsey is or Chelsea, is that that is the universe's way of saying your time is precious here. You need to use it for everything that you can to follow
exactly,
your passion and to live your life.
exactly.
And
I
they were
agree.
just giving you a nice little warm up. They didn't want to hurt you. They just wanted to give you a little reminder
Warning,
tap.
hey,
Yeah,
do something like your rotator cuffs twice.
exactly. Well, and when I looked at now, I don't know how graphic I want to get, but when I looked at they took pictures when they opened me up. And have you ever had a bone-in roast, a nice bone-in roast with a bone sticking out of it? Have you ever
Yeah.
seen one of those? That was the exact same thing that they showed that my everything was ripped up. It was
Oh
completely
no.
destroyed. And so they had to and so they had to redo it and stuff. But that was my wake. It was like, all right, time for you to do what you've always said you wanted to do. So
Yeah.
so in fact, one of these days after your release, because I'm starting live AM radio in Seattle next week. And so you'll have to come on that program, which is called Positive Talk Radio. And you'll have to come on
That's
that
a great
program.
name. I love it.
Yes. And we'll talk about what you're doing and keep updated, because I would love to keep updating, and then when your game comes out, you can be I can be a sponsor. How about that?
That would be amazing, Kevin.
It would be fun to do. So I appreciate it. And what I always like to do at the end of these things is I want to give you drag a soapbox over and let you tell our audience what you'd like them to know about anything that's on your mind.
Like what?
I don't know. What is as an example? What would be if you could give somebody the hope of living their lives more authentically, more real, more positively, and achieving their dreams? How would you suggest they go about doing it?
I would say just do it. Execute it. Plan it. Execute it. Don't hold back. Do not hold back. Because us humans, like, this is what I found out about, not found out, sorry. This is what I realized about us human beings. Like, there's so many people that's doing this. And it's such a shame, because all of us have our own potential. And I can see that if we all actually tap into that potential, we would have been way ahead than where we are at right now. A lot of people has amazing ideas, but they don't do anything about it. All they do is just talk, and there's no action. So I guess at the end of the day, if you really want to be successful, you just have to do something and execute it. And life will find a way to get you to where you want to be at. Because, like, for example, Kevin, your example with your rotator cuffs, you did something about it, and now here you're at, like, interviewing people, doing the things you love, and obviously you will not give up anything for this. So I guess that is the major thing that people should do if you really want to be successful, because all talk and no do is just a recipe for failure.
Exactly. And by the way, you can't fail unless you quit.
Yes. Failure is a good thing too. It depends on how you see it. What I meant was, when I say failure, is you will never get there because you never tried. But failure is good if you learn from them when you try something. For example, the podcast that you tried, what was it, 18 years ago, and you failed. But that's okay, because you learned that the setup was not right and you did it well this time. So yeah, that's a good failure.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
it's a learning episode, and
it is.
then the reality is, I had a friend tell me, because I said, well, I spent a ton of money. It cost me a lot in my personal life and stuff. And he said, yeah, but you did it.
Exactly.
I've had people all in the last 18 walk up to me and say, yeah, but you did it. I don't have the guts to do that. And so it's an important that we all have the belief and the knowing that we can do anything that we choose to do. Can you do it right the first time perfectly? Probably not. There's a
Yeah.
learning curve with everything. It's like I love the way that you're putting the games together. Is you're taking it one step at a time. You're not trying to bite off more than you can chew. You're doing
Yeah.
each step to do it well, and so the end product is going to be better than the sum of its parts.
Exactly. Because, like, I have learned and failed so many times. 5 years ago, I would be like, no, I want to spend this amount of money and build the entire world. I want to release it in a perfect way, like a perfect world. But that is not realistic. That never happens, because there will always be bugs. There will always be people not liking it, or you will be coming up with a product that people don't want to play. And you will be wasting all of your money, like too much money, too much time, too much energy. It's just not worth it. So I guess that failure, I've learned from it. Like all you need to do is start small, because if you do so much and try to achieve so big, but you do not achieve it, you are going to fall into a deep hole of depression. And then you're going to think that you're not, you don't have the potential to do it, you don't have the talent to do it. You just can't do it because you're just not good enough. But that is not the case. Sometimes it's just timing. Sometimes it's just like, sometimes it's just like, you're not ready yet. The world thinks that you're not ready yet. You still need to learn from it. So yeah.
Chelsey Chew has been our guest. She is an extraordinary young lady, and I really am interested to see where you go with this. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I love your philosophies, and the way that you're, and some of my contemporaries that are a lot older than you can learn from you. So I hope that they
I always believe we all can learn from each other, one way or another, because we all live different lives. So
I agree with you 100%. Again, I'd like to thank Tracy Lamore for putting us together. This has been a dynamic and been a wonderful episode. Will you come back? Can we do this again?
Of course, Kevin. Thank you very much for having me. I'm very honored.
You are very awesome. So
are you.
Well, thank you. I'll accept that. If you wait right there, I'll be right back and stuff. So stay right where you are.
Okay.
Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other, because each other's all we've got. See you next time on My Independence Report.